Hey guys, what is going on? This is Wrestlelamia, back with another episode. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know, including Roman Reigns' Royal Rumble opponent, how much longer does Randy Orton have on his WWE contract, WWE title match on hold, is an absent SmackDown superstar ready for an in-ring return? More speculation on Roman Reigns' Rumble opponent. Topping today's news is the current speculation regarding Roman Reigns' Royal Rumble opponent. Reigns, who is expected back for the 15th December edition of SmackDown, is believed to have a match at January's Royal Rumble. It's currently unknown whether Reigns will defend the Undisputed Championship or whether he'll work in a different match, such as a tag match. However, if he does defend the title, Dave Meltzer reports that there's a good chance it'll be against Randy Orton. I know that it was under consideration. I also know that there were other ideas too. I watched Raw on Monday that it was going to be Roman versus Randy at the pay-per-view. There are ideas, but it's possible that there were other ideas too, so we'll see how it plays out. This is the strongest by far. You could do Punk, but it's too early, and Punk is with Rollins. Kevin Owens is going with Logan Paul. Orton made it clear as soon as he returned to the WWE that he has payback in mind for the bloodline, and who can blame him? The group knocked him out of action for a year and a half, and Orton isn't one to forgive and forget. Factor in that it's believed that WWE was setting things up for a title shot against Reigns last summer, at least until Orton's injury sidelined him, and the Rumble match makes sense. As far as Meltzer is concerned, Reigns versus Orton is the only logical program. The angle basically told you, right? They got 9 weeks to promote it, so that's what I expected being. Nothing else makes sense. Kevin Owens recently discussed any rematch with Reigns, pointing out that the fans have seen it enough times that he doesn't think there'd be any interest in yet another rematch. While a Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns match should be fantastic, the WWE will have to book things carefully to avoid Orton looking like another one of Roman's latest victims. Randy Orton's contract status. How much longer does Randy Orton have left on his WWE contract? Now that the Viper is back following an 18-month hiatus, fans are curious how much longer they can expect him in the company. According to Fightful Select, it depends on whether the WWE adds the time Orton missed from the WWE due to injury from his existing deal. You may recall that Orton signed a new deal with WWE back in 2019. Fightful reports that the contract was for 5 years, which would keep the Apex Predator locked into the WWE until the fall of 2024. However, if the WWE decides to add Orton's 18-month hiatus onto his existing deal, he could be in the WWE until 2026. Fightful reports that nothing has been confirmed regarding WWE adding time to Orton's contract. However, it is a common policy with the WWE, and WrestleLamia would be more surprised if WWE didn't add the time than if they let the matter slide. Orton's loyalty to WWE and his fondness for working in the promotion makes it likely he'll spend the rest of his wrestling career in the company. Orton recently signaled to fans that he wants to spend 10 more years in the WWE, which could be the case if his body holds up. WWE planning on testing CM Punk? Does the WWE feel CM Punk can last in the company without having a meltdown like the one, or two depending on whom you believe, in AEW? Well, rumor has it that the WWE has a clause in Punk's contract that protects WWE in the event of a Punk meltdown. Dave Meltzer recently suggested WWE may book Punk's first feud to test the Second City Saint's temperament by having him lose the feud. Yeah, I think they may do that just to, see his attitude. I could see that. I think from a business standpoint, that's the problem. Meltzer seems to feel that Punk's AEW history means the WWE has no choice but to test him. From a pure business standpoint, if he had no baggage on him and everything like that, I would say that he really should win. He's so over, blah, 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 but I don't think you can go that way. I think he has to do something to prove to everyone that he can do business. Meltzer seems to believe Punk will pass any test put before him. I'm sure he will because he has to. They're not going to put up with that. They're not going to put up with him saying no. So I think there's a good chance of that happening because in the long term, they do want to go with him and Roman Reigns. So in that case, what do? The WWE obviously doesn't want to put Punk into a program with Roman Reigns and have everything blow up in its face. However, can the WWE book Punk to lose his first feud without angering the WWE universe, let alone Punk? Raw fans in for a big disappointment? It looks like the WWE could have a problem with tonight's Raw, specifically for fans who bought tickets for the show expecting to see CM Punk. Dave Meltzer recently revealed that the straight-edge superstar isn't being advertised for Raw. Nevertheless, that didn't stop fans eager to see Punk from buying tickets following Punk's return at Survivor Series. I'll tell you what, the thing is, there's going to be a lot of upset people because they almost sold 1,700 tickets in the last week for Albany for Raw, and that's for Punk. Meltzer pointed out that while Punk wasn't advertised, the feeling is that the tickets sold due to expectations that the Second City Saint will be in Albany, New York when Raw comes to town. I mean, they never advertised him. People just bought the tickets assuming he'd be there, but tickets moved, and that's a lot of tickets to move in a week. So that's the reason they moved, so we'll see. If Punk doesn't show up on tonight's Raw, is that any reason for the fans to be disappointed? Particularly since Punk wasn't advertised? The WWE could find itself in a tough situation, as Punk's return seems to be spiking the WWE's live event sales, which were already doing well due to renewed interest in the company. However, if fans feel the WWE is engaging in deceptive advertising, this could lead to a backlash. The problem becomes how WWE deals with this situation when it's clearly not advertising Punk. SmackDown superstar being prepped for return? SmackDown fans may see the return of a familiar face, as Dave Meltzer is reporting that Sheamus should be back following his recent shoulder injury. Meltzer and Bryan Alvarez were discussing a recent SmackDown episode when Sheamus' name came up, and Meltzer noted that Sheamus is supposed to be back real soon. The Celtic Warrior last appeared on the 18th August edition of the Blue brand. Sheamus' absence, coupled with the rumors that his current WWE deal is set to expire in 2024, had some fans thinking he had already left the company. However, that doesn't appear to be the case, and like Randy Orton's scenario, Sheamus could have time added onto his WWE deal due to his injury-related absence. As for Sheamus' SmackDown return, it's believed that Sheamus will come in to help Butch deal with former Brawling Brutes teammate Ridge Holland, who walked out on Butch during a match. No word regarding whether WWE intends to keep the Brawling Brutes around, either with just Sheamus and Butch, or with a new teammate. Creed Brothers title match on hold? The Creed Brothers won the Tag Team Gauntlet match on the 27th November Raw, becoming #1 contenders for the undisputed Tag Team Championship. However, it appears that Julius and Brutus will have to wait before they get their shot at Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Raw General Manager Adam Pearce recently revealed on X that the Creed Brothers are booked to battle JD McDonough and Dirty Dominic Mysterio on the 4th December Raw. So what happened to that tag team title shot? Dave Meltzer commented on this situation during a recent episode of Wrestling Observer Radio. How come the Creeds aren't in the... So the Creeds will have to win one more match before they get Priest and Balor match? Because last week they talked about how the tag team titles would be at stake this week, so I guess they're putting it off for another week. The WWE has given the Creed brothers a huge push since the recent main roster call-up. However, WWE may want to give them even more time to get over before they book them into a tag team championship match. It's unknown if WWE intends to put the titles on them. However, if WWE plans to keep the titles on the Judgment Day's Balor and Priest, WWE may be considering holding off on the tag title match so Julius and Brutus don't lose their momentum should they come up short for the titles. Which WWE executives were recently released? Wondering which WWE executives were released last Friday? As Wrestlelamia noted in an earlier news video, TKO Holdings made more releases to WWE employees, as well as to NXT announcer Mackenzie Mitchell. Now we're learning the identities of 5 executives who were released. Diamond Dave Meltzer reported on this during the latest Wrestling Observer Radio. They cut 5 senior vice presidents. They cut Michael White, who was on all of the conference calls, the investors' calls every quarter. As for the latest releases, Meltzer noted, most of the people who were cut, it was a business thing, and they had people already for the jobs. Craig Stimmel, who was the head of global sales, I'm sure they had someone for that job. Karen Mullaney, who was the chief accounting officer, and Stuart Fry, who was the senior vice president of streaming technology, and Matt Geyer, who was the senior vice president of gaming. According to Meltzer, the cuts weren't a surprise, because Endeavor made various cuts when it acquired UFC. Unfortunately, these cuts also included some longtime employees, so they were some of the key people who were cut. Michael White was with the company for something like 17 years. He was always on those calls when they went through everything. What do you think of the latest round of WWE cuts? Well guys, there you have it, the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know. Leave your comments below, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and we'll see you next time for some more wrestling content.